hear me. And thank you so much for the invite and the opportunity to speak about a topic that is very close to my heart personally, but also, of course, then to the Volvo Group as a whole. And maybe first off, also congratulations on a great and exciting event. I understand there are many very current and relevant topics for the mobility space, addressing many of the fantastic opportunities that lie ahead, but also plenty of challenges, as I understand from the most recent discussions. The title of my talk today may come across as a little bit cocky, particularly with so many distinguished and competent players out there. But I hope that you, by the end of it, will appreciate that it's by all means about staying in the forefront of our industry, but it's equally about not hesitating on the chicken and egg dilemma that we face here, but rather that we want this to happen and we're really prepared to get that ball in motion. And I guess it's no news to anyone that the world is facing one of its biggest challenges yet. And in this very moment, it is being discussed at the very highest level in Glasgow at COP26. The climate challenge and fighting to keep the 1.5 degree alive is something that involves us all in the most profound of ways. The Volvo Group has clearly stated our commitment to the Paris Agreement and our ambition to be in the forefront of our industry in this journey. Following our heritage, our DNA of innovating in the space of mobility, we are in a new era, one where impact on sustainability is measured equally alongside profitability targets as well as cost of ownership. I will share with you in these coming minutes how we in the Volvo Group are addressing the opportunities and the challenges that this transition presents, alongside our most important stakeholder, our customer. He or she is truly at the center of everything we do and create. And together, we are shaping the future we want to live in. The picture you see here is a recent one, together with a very progressive customer, DFDS, who has ordered 100 heavy-duty electric trucks to take them on their journey towards net zero. Now, as the picture suggests, it is a true partnership together with Volvo, where we are supporting them in making this change. They will be the early receivers of the first truly heavy-duty commercial vehicle able to haul 44 tons completely and fully electrically already next year. Now, making the shift to a sustainable transport systems is something that not too long ago, many thought would have to happen at the expense of profitability. But as technology has evolved, solutions have been created, and by all means, also then the support of subsidies, it is not a contradiction. It will be a competitive edge for many years to come, but ultimately, it will be a hygiene factor to operate within the boundaries of our planet, and at the same time, with consistency and profitability, operate over time. Now, in order to be successful in supporting our customers, we often need to address an even larger solution space, what we call an industry vertical. We need to understand even more about the different supply chains and or ecosystems related to a specific industry to really know where CO2 is spent and where revenues and profits are gained and who the stakeholders are. In the Volvo Group, we have ample opportunities to cater to many of these needs. And it's really about identifying the packages of both hardware and services that are necessary in order for us to support our customers in this journey. This is why we talk about driving prosperity through transport and infrastructure solutions. And if you put that in a slightly different context and you really then set a long-term aim at it, for us, it's quite obvious and evident that it can only be 100% safe, 100% fossil-free, and 100% more productive. Talking about safe, only a year ago, roughly 1.3 million people globally were killed as a result of road-related accidents. This is a target that we have been addressing and a challenge that we will continue to address to reach that ultimate goal. And same thing then for fossil-free. We know the 1.5 degree challenge and we are committed to reaching it. And there is only one direction, that is 100% fossil-free. And finally then, 100% more productive. You can say that's really delivering on the golden equation of people, planet, profit, and prosperity. We really need to make sure that we're leveraging all that installed capacity in the best possible way with great efficiency. Now, to state that in a different manner, if you so will, to manifest that, the Volvo Group, as of last year, committed to the science-based targets. Now, the challenge is real, and we are committed. We've gotten our science-based targets validated, and we follow them now quarterly to ensure that we're on track. Minus 40% CO2 well-to-wheel reduction from 2019 to 2030 is what we have as our target for on-road products, trucks, and buses. And of course, then a net zero target by 2040. Now that's 10 years ahead of the Paris Agreement and the net zero target of 2050. But mind you, the average rolling fleet of our vehicles, the age of that is roughly 10 years, meaning that if we are to meet our mid-century net zero target, we will have delivered the last carbon-emitting vehicle as no later than 2040. Now, one can almost go numb by all these statements and timelines and percentages. But if you pause just for a second and contemplate what it is we're saying that in less than 18 years, the Volvo Group will have delivered its last carbon-emitting vehicle. Now, if I put that in my context, that's shorter time than what I've spent in the industry so far. And I also acknowledge the amount of technology and collaboration that we will need to take place in that time frame to make sure we manage. And that, I would say, is quite the undertaking. Now, in addition to the emissions from our products in use, we also have ambitious targets when it comes to our own operations. And there we've set a reduction of 50% on greenhouse gases by 2030, which is ambitious, I will say. But that being said, our own operations account for less than 1% of our total greenhouse gas emissions. Our products in use, of course, then well over 99%. So here is, of course, where our focus lies. And we are the first commercial vehicle OEM to commit to the 1.5 target. Ambitious, yes, but absolutely necessary, the way we see it. So how do we then intend to tackle this? How do we intend to reach this goal? Well, what you see on the slide right here is essentially then a simplification of our road to our net zero target. And as you will see, it's obviously very linear and academically perfect. I think that in reality, and when we do the aftermath, we will note that it wasn't probably quite as linear. But nevertheless, it points out a few very important things. Number one, we are convinced that we need to have a broad portfolio of options for our customers, even in the long run. We are convinced we will need to have 3 unique technologies in this. It's battery electric vehicles, it's fuel cell electric vehicles, and it is the combustion engine. Now, the first two, the electrical vehicles, they will, without a shadow of a doubt, be the backbone of this transition. Make no mistake. If not least on the mere fact that there will not be sufficient supply of renewable biofuels to cater to the needs of the industry. So that in itself is one driver, but also then, of course, the true, what you say, sustainability of those operations. This being said, there are plenty of applications and transport tasks out there that, quite frankly, will be cumbersome to transition to an electrified solution, meaning that the combustion engine will continue to play an important role even beyond 2040. Mind you then, of course, run on fossil-free renewable fuels. One option being hydrogen, meaning combustion engines run on hydrogen, either gas or liquid hydrogen. Of course, on this journey, policy support and funding will be necessary in order to initiate some of those important enablers, meaning charging infrastructure as well as fueling infrastructure for hydrogen. So on this decarbonization journey, there will be legislative milestones when it comes to CO2 across the globe. And we will, of course, continue to invest in our combustion engines and after-treatment systems in order to increase efficiency, meet the legislative milestones, as well as stay competitive. And what this slide really shows and suggests is, of course, also then the fact that it is, a lot of focus on the tailpipe emissions. But make no mistake, we are hard at work also then, together with our suppliers and partners, to introduce fossil-free materials, ensuring that the debt to the planet, if I say so, that our product holds as it rolls off our production lines will be ultimately zero. So the lineup is clear, and they will all be instrumental alongside of each other to make this transition possible in a seamless manner, catering to all the wide range of transport tasks to ensure that the world functions. People get to where they need to go, and that goods and food reach our homes and our industries. Now, pursuing these advanced technologies simultaneously is quite the undertaking. And it's clear to us that this is a journey that we need to make together with partners that are at the forefront of their respective industries, driving the transition and breaking new ground in both technology as well as business. What you see on the slide here are several proof points of not only the fact that this is happening, but more importantly, that we're really seeing some remarkable outcome. And another reflection that can be made looking at this slide, seeing some of the partners, a thought that only a few years ago was almost unthinkable or unheard of is the fact that we are partnering with some of our fiercest competitors to make this happen. One example, in July, we announced the JV together with Daimler Trucks as well as Traton to build and operate a high-performance public charging network for heavy-duty electric vehicles, both trucks and buses. We're not waiting. We're pooling to make this happen. And by 2025, we aim at having 2,000 charge points across Europe. Another good example, in June, we communicated a new partnership with Ovako, a Swedish-Finnish steel manufacturer. Now, this is a partnership on green hydrogen, much like the one we also have then with the Swedish steel manufacturer, SSAB. But this one is particularly interesting, and it's really in regards to the role that hydrogen will play in the future net zero society. And it actually started with Ovako, looking into their process, realizing that where they are currently using propane, they can use oxygen and hydrogen rather. Now, oxygen and hydrogen are a beautiful combination that comes through electrolysis of water. So in their calculations, they note that oxygen is necessary as well as hydrogen. However, then more oxygen than hydrogen, meaning that they will end up with a surplus of hydrogen in their process. And thankfully, and naturally maybe, they reached out to Volvo, knowing that we are very committed also then to making the transition together with a hydrogen economy. So we saw the opportunity to build also transport solutions off of this surplus. And this is just one example of many, many across Europe and the world where big industries such as cement, steel, chemical will have the need and will transition on the back of a hydrogen economy. The transport sector will be roughly 10% of that, but nevertheless, together, this enables some fantastic opportunity. Looking then further, and you see the orange vehicle on the screen is our collaboration. Not only is it an automated vehicle, but it's our collaboration together with SSAB on fossil-free steel. So that is the first vehicle of its kind, and in the world, as far as I understand, that is built off of fossil-free steel. And whilst we're on the topic of automation, we can also then mention Aurora and NVIDIA, two fairly recent partnerships together with us building our autonomous capacities within our virtual drivers, and also then bringing transport solutions to North America in an on-highway application. Further adding our cell-centric JV together with Daimler around fuel cells, as well as then a recent acquisition of a forward-leaning advanced company called Designwork in the space of electromobility. So what you see in this slide is what I kind of mentioned in my introduction. Several of these partnerships are born out of the Volvo groups and our partnerships' willingness to make this happen, not waiting to resolve what the hen or the egg is, but rather say, let's take the lead. Let's make this happen. Now, the partnerships mentioned here are but a few of what we have ongoing. And we're also nurturing and encouraging everyone in the organization to embrace these possibilities of accelerating innovation through partnerships. And we have a special concept for that. Back in 2019, we launched a concept that within the Volvo Group that we call CampX. It's a concept and a methodology to encourage and embrace innovative thinking and to capture as many great ideas as possible. And we work in several different ways with this. In a, if I so say, a very structured manner together with our business owners to identify business needs that we want to then accelerate together with startups and partnerships. But we also want to make sure that we grasp all of those great ideas through our entrepreneurial, innovative spirits out there in the organization, giving them a simple and clear legal framework, giving them a simplified governance structure, and thereby allowing them to accelerate their journey to a customer solution to take to market. The projects are typically 3 to 12-month long sprints, and they can result in anything from a spin-out, so a unique entity, company that that we spin out to the market, or that we create products and services that we market through our known channels, or technical solutions that we feed back into our ongoing technology development. In this journey, we want to make sure that we are connected to the leading ecosystems in the world to attract the best talent, but also then to attract the best startups. And I think a good example of that is our partnership together with Drive in Tel Aviv. Truly amazing to see how we can partner and find great solutions. We work in an open, agile way. We invite the startups and cross-functional teams into our facilities to co-locate and to co-create. So far, we have sites in Bangalore, in Gothenburg, and we're just now getting ready to start up in Lyon, and I'm sure more will follow. So, like I stated in my introduction, in this truly disruptive and pivotal point in our industry, there are endless opportunities, new technologies, new business models, and many, many partnerships to learn and thrive from. It's never been more exciting to be in the mobility industry or the transport industry. And quite frankly, I don't think it's ever been so exciting to be an engineer. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope it was inspiring.